Good evening everyone, it's Bunsen here again, and tonight I've got a short video about grams and millilitres. Are they the same? The short answer, no. Okay, thanks very much for listening, and I'll see you all tomorrow. No, just kidding. I will explain it a little bit more. Basically, with grams, that's measuring something called mass. So you could have kilograms, milligrams, that's all mass. It's like how much of some stuff that you have, right? I'm not going to be too technical on the physics details, so please don't hate me if you know all about physics, but just the general gist of the difference between grams and millilitres. So grams is mass. You could say, oh, I'm going to buy 2 kilograms of chocolate. That's a certain amount of chocolate that you're going to have. You might measure how much of a certain drug that you need to take. That might be in milligrams, comes in a tablet. If they get it wrong, it's quite important. It could have very bad effects if it was wrong. So that's the amount of stuff. With millilitres, that's a measure of something called volume. So volume represents how much space something takes up. The way that this can be confusing is the way we're defining millilitres is that it's 1 cubic centimetre. So a cubic centimetre is one of these. Right? So I've got these little plastic cubes. I've just swiped them from work because obviously I work in a school. And if I measure the length of one of the sides of these cubes, I'm trying to do it with one hand. Hopefully you can see it's 1 centimetre wide, and each side is 1 centimetre wide. So that's 1, and that's 1 centimetre there, and I turn it over. It's 1 centimetre there as well. So this is 1 cubic centimetre. You might have seen these as cc's if you have like the engine of a motorcycle or a certain amount of drugs. Again, in the past, they might be measured in cc's. That's cubic centimetres. So that's one of these. So 1 millilitre of space takes up this much. So it doesn't seem like much, right? So let's have a look at some other things to do with volume. Over here, I've made a little block out of these squares, and hopefully we might be able to count how many there are. So it's 4 across this way, it's 3 across that way, and then the third way is got 2. So I could say the volume of this block of plastic would be 4 times 2 times 3. That's the volume. So let's work it out. 4 times 2, that's 8. 8 times 3 is 24. I've left my calculator at work. So there's 24 of these little blocks. If I broke this up and I counted them, there'd be 24 of them. Okay? So there we are. So to save time counting, we could do this measuring thing that I did and work out the volume of any object. So that's the amount of space that would be inside. So over here, I've got an emptied out matchbox, And if I measure it, I measured it earlier, so that's 5 across that way, 3 across that way, and then 1 centimetre underneath there. So I should be able to fit 5 times 3 times 1 blocks inside, which I can. So there's 15, fits in. Oops. Yeah, it did, just trust me. Okay, so here's my matchbox. I know that this volume is 15 cubic centimetres, 15. So this is 15 millilitres. So what's 15 millilitres? That's a tablespoon. So a tablespoon is this much space. It's a bit weird to see it in a box, but it is. So would this be 15 grams? No. So there's 15 millilitres of air in there, right? And that's obviously not 15 grams. So let's measure some things and see how many grams they are. Right. Here's one. Inside are some matches. So we have 15 millilitres of matches. Let's see how much their mass is. Right. Here's a good trick for measuring things if you're dieting, which I guess most of us are. I'm going to put this empty container on my scales, push 0, oops, take it off, and now when I put this filled box, it's only going to measure how many grams are inside. So inside there are 6 grams of matches, but the amount of space inside, we said, was 15 millilitres. So clearly they're not the same. Let's try another one. Here's another box. 15 millilitres of this item is 62 grams. Goodness me. I wonder what's inside. Yeah, it's metal. Okay. So the answer is grams is mass, millilitres is volume, which is space. They're not the same. Thing is, for a lot of objects, a lot of things in the kitchen, they are the same. So water is the same. Things that are close to water, it's pretty close. So milk, butter isn't too far off, actually. I did the calculation. It's about, 80%. So for a lot of things, it doesn't really matter. It's near enough for your cooking. But for things like, yes, in yesterday's video, ice cream, very important, not the same. Okay? So, hopefully, you've been able to learn something new, and I've explained it well. Please leave a comment if you want me to do any more videos. Otherwise, good night. See you all later. Bye.